Hello, welcome back to another edition, session 2.1 for History of Design. We are going to do an epoch, epoch of typographic genius. Today we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the thumbnails that you need for your posters as well today. So let's jump into it. First thing I'm going to do is, well, first thing, if I were you, I'd, open up the assignment, then read through the book, go through this, find out what you want to talk about within this chapter, and then start doing some research. So I did that part. I looked up and I went through here and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of into the point system. I can't remember what on here. Oh, Ditto created the point system, but then the point system went away. So I started like digging into the typographic point system, and just we know it today, and you use 8-point, 12-point, whatever, but it's changed over the years, and I thought that was pretty cool. There's different styles of it as well over the years. So the original point system was created in France, but then again, in my research and looking through and reading about stuff, guess what happened over time? Of course, the French developed it in Paris. Well, they're kind of closed off maybe back in the 1773, 1737. They're closed off, from people. And then so Britain makes their own. They have their own printers. They can make their own. In America, America's established now. We're going to make our own. Like everybody's making their own. And then what happened at some point is all the American ones decided to come together and create a standardization for America. And then somehow in that, British founders also had to do something. In like 1901, or they started to come together. I don't know the exact dates, but to say like, we're going to standardize. And so America and Britain standardized. Europe was still different. And on our scales, we don't have anything, on our book and system, we don't have anything for Asia and whatnot. But Europe was different than America and Britain. So two countries. And then like, I'm sure Canada was on the French system. And then, if they had printers yet and all that kind of stuff. But it's just all very interesting. And then you know what made everybody standardize it all, which is pretty cool, which is weird too, is where is it? While the Ditto system was once the standard in Europe, the advent of desktop publishing changed it all. So that's recent. That I mean, we could maybe go desktop publishing would be, maybe could say started in the 70s. I'm not sure like what year, specifically we started being able to properly output from a computer for print without doing photostats, which is what you used to do. It's called a photostat. So it's fairly new. And because desktop publishing, these programs were written and developed generally in America, they went with the point system. And when these are then exported to other countries, they don't change that. They just kept the point system, which means that everybody eventually now uses the same point system. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I was like, I'm going to do my write-up on the point system. Now, I'll do some of it. I'm not going to bore you all with the whole design process because I want you to do that for yourselves. So we'll just kind of keep that in mind, and I'll get it started. I'm going to show you what I do, how I go about it. I'm going to set up that document so we're all doing it right, and then I'm going to save that 2 PDFs of that document so we're all doing it right. It is important. It is good to know how you're exporting this for a client, for a printer, what the differences are, because you're going to need to know that. Like somebody's going to say, we need that exported at this, and this, and you're going to have to know how to do it. It's not always just like, oh, just hand us a file. They're going to have specifics. the more you know, the better you're gonna be at this. It's gonna save you time, it's less guessing, and like I said, sometimes if you do this stuff wrong, you get charged a premium because they have to fix your work. So, you know, if you don't have bleed, they're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna send it back to you, and they send it back to you, and then you have to put bleed on it. Well, now that project's running late as well. So these are like simple things. Like, why do I have to do this? It's to actually do it correctly and to save you and your client time and money in the future. So let's dig in. So first thing, I went through and I checked everything out, and I was reading this and found a bunch of interesting stuff about how things are changing in the world of typography at this time. And remember now, this is like 1737, I believe it was. If that's not an exact year, that's fine. It's not a big deal. But you gotta remember, so we had our first book published in 1455, 1400, right? Let's see, Gutenberg. I'm really bad with years. Bible first published. I know I teach a history course, but I cannot remember. 1455. So think 300 years have gone by. 300. Not like 30, not like from like, in your parents' lifetime. 300. America hasn't even been around for 300 years. So this typographic development that we're talking about developed over 300 years. So a lot can happen in 300 years. There's development in better technologies. Better metals are created to make that metal type better, easier to process. Like there's a whole thing on creating just that single piece of type when you're dealing with hand setting type. Many years of development of changes like casting it, making it easy to cast, recast, put in the molds, like all this stuff. That's been happening over 300 years, and they're getting better and better at creating it, creating machines for it, all that kind of stuff. So just kind of remember, like it, in the book we jump from like one to another, but like hundreds of years has passed over this time. So that's pretty crazy. What we're going to do is let's set up this document 14.5, 14 by 5. So let's get this started. I'm going to open up Illustrator because that's what we're going to do it in. I'm going to go to New File, and I'm going to go to the width is 14. I'm just going to hit Tab. So whenever it shows up blue, you can just hit the tab. Like I don't have to keep moving my mouse up here, my cursor. I go to 5, and then fine. The bleed we want it at 0.25. Tab switches them all, and then I'm going to hit Create. There we are. Very long and skinny, whole new style. So now we're going to make my margin, M-A-R-G-I-N, enter. And we're going to create our margin the same way we do every time, is we are going to create a box. I'm going to go to properties to make it easier on myself. And the margin is always a ½ inch smaller. So it's 13.5 by 4.5. Again, get used to this kind of like mathy stuff. You need to set these up yourselves a lot of the times when you're a designer, and you have to there's a bunch of figuring you got to do. You can't just like leave it and be like, well, I don't need to do it. You need to do it. And then I'm just going to center this guy. So I did my fill, 0 fill, and the stroke is 1 point. Let's make that go to 1 point exactly. It was a little off. There we go. And then I'm going to center it. How do I center it? Just hit that, hit that. My rulers are already turned on, and so then I can just drag my guides in. So again, why do we do this? I want to know reference points when I'm designing. How am I designing? Is it too much to one side? Do I want it asymmetric? You might as well just map this out in advance. It's going to help your design stuff. Then I'm going to go to layers. I'm going to close that. I'm going to hit that. I'm going to put crop marks in. Now the crop marks, not seeing the best of these crop marks yet. I know it's new and different, hey? What am I doing? It's so new and different. So for crop marks, we have 0 fill. We have 0 stroke. And we go to this FX, and all you have to do is hit crop marks, and it does it for you. Now, the crop marks are supposed to be the size of the artboard, not the size of the margin. So I've seen that happen. That's why I'm bringing that up. Some people have just been using the same box. No, the margin is that area of Do not put design in here. The bleed is, please make sure your design goes all the way to here so we don't ruin it when we print it and it doesn't shift. And the crop marks are on the artboard. So 3 different items that we're marking. The margin, which is inside the artboard, the artboard, which gets the crop marks, and then the bleed, which is that stuff that needs to extend past. It's our working area. So that's how you do that. So just follow those instructions. They go step by step. I think it's fairly easy. We're going to make our other layers that we need. Again, I know some of you do not like working in layers. Get used to it. Here's what. Other people work in layers. So you kind of have to work on both sides of that, that line. You're going to get work. A lot of printers, you're going to get the work from the printers, and they're going to put it in layers, and they're going to have it just like this. I got to name that crop marks. They are going to give you a setup in Illustrator, and it's going to have different layers, and it's going to say like your artwork here or your artwork below this layer. And you have to pay attention. If you screw that up, you screw it up. And they're not going to apologize for you not being able to figure out their layers. So that's what we need to know about that. Now for this piece, I think I'm going to keep it like pure. I think this is just going to be like pure black and white. And I think that fits like this whole ruler kind of pica and points, because now I've been reading about picas, which is 6 points is 1 pica. I don't use picas at all. It comes up all the time. I just never use them. So no big deal there. So I know this size. Now what I did is, because I have it, and you have access to this too now, if you come in and work in the studios, is I use Photoshop, and I have a drawing screen, and room M560 has 15 or 16 drawing screens for you to come in and use. And it's so much fun to do your sketching in like Photoshop. So I'm going to open up, get Photoshop to the front, pop to the front here. And all I did was like very loosely sketched out what I wanted in the size, in the correct layout. So if we go here, like the point system, that's what I'm just going to call my thing. And I want my title running sideways like this. I just wrote it in. I'm not thinking about the font yet. I'm just thinking about the layout. That's why we do these quick sketches. All I'm thinking about is the layout. So then I wanted the points. I wanted this like this. So instead of me getting on the computer, typing it out and saying I don't like it, here I did a quick one. I'm like, okay, I think that looks good. And if it didn't look good, I could just erase it or go to a new layer and be like, okay, maybe I'll put the title differently. Now I want a scale going up, and I want to show like 1 point all the way to whatever I can fit on here, like 100 points. Great. And I'm going to create that by hand, and I'm just going to create that using Illustrator and all the distribution tools, alignment tools, and all that stuff. I can find 5 images to put in, and then I know where my paragraph is coming from. And so I'm going to have like 2 images, the title, 2 images, my paragraph, and then 3 images to kind of like offset that, you know, the design. So now I can do one of 2 things, which is ever easiest. I'm actually going to screenshot this and then place a screenshot in, because like why, you know, I could go to File, Export, JPEG, then bring that in. I should just be able to do a screenshot, which I have set up on my computer, and I know what a screenshot is, how to do it. There's just a little camera button on my keyboard that just does an automatic screenshot. And then I can place that in, and I can place that into the background, because right now I said I'm going all white. So I'm going to go to File, Place, and then I'm going to go on my computer, and you'll see this, because this is where a lot of my corrections from you all come from here. I'm going to go to Place and get that in there. And then now I know where that border is. And then I'm going to hold down Shift. And there we go. I have my blueprint for my design. So now I can just start placing stuff in and not having to be like, where do I want it? Do I want it here? Do I want it there? Blah, 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 blah. And like, sure, my margins might not have been great on that. It doesn't matter. Like, they're close enough. I can figure this stuff out. So then I can start placing, cropping images, placing my paragraph, and I'm kind of like done. And that's why I suggest, and I highly push the students, you all, to start doing these quick sketches. You can bring them in and then your design is done. Now is the time to then be like, okay, how am I going to do that? Instead of thinking, I want this and I need to figure it out. You're doing now the proper way is like, I know what I want to do. Now I just have to complete it. And I'm not being like, well, if this photo moves here, what if this moves here? So like I can go through and I don't know if I have Ditto. Let's see. Dido. That's a singer. Let's look. I'm gonna do the title and I'm gonna grab some images and I'll do the paragraph. I won't do this part with you, this lower part, because you guys would be like, oh my God, he's taking forever. And because I'm doing a white background, I'm not gonna add anything in. But if I have anything that goes beyond the margin, like if I were to run this guide pass, I would still go out to the bleed. But I think I'm keeping this so simple and clean that I'm not going to go beyond the margin with anything. So title. Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to type that, and I'm going to say the. Oh, why did I hit return? You make that big so I can see it, put it wherever you want. I use the art, I go offside the art part, I do all this kind of stuff. Ditto. I do have it. Look at that. Ditto LT Pro. Headline, bold. Well, I want to use bold. And then let's just see what I have. Because what I don't like is that there's no like Roman. I have headline, I have italic, and I have bold. I wish there was another system in here. So I can see if there is, and I have the ability to use Adobe fonts and apps. So I'm going to go browse more fonts. It's going to come up here. I got to put in my codes. Log on to MATC. Sometimes it remembers me. Oh, there we go. It knows me. And then I want to make it bigger. Search. Oh, here, we can do this one. Add family. Oh, this is it, maybe? And then I didn't have them all downloaded. Yeah, I wanted Roman. There we go. So now I can do it. And now I can typeset it in just one single font. And I'll be happy with it. So I like the point system. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do this. But first, maybe I should go back. Let's do this. And then I'm going to look at the tracking and kerning. Let's tighten it up a bit. Oh, I'm touching, but it was pretty spacey. Let's go to like what minus 50. Minus 50 is too tight, as you can see right here. But we could just say like minus 25. It's better. Maybe it's not perfect, but again, I want you guys to like, this is like almost like a little speed run. And I want you to, start to learn how to be like kind of like efficient in design and knock out your ideas and be like, this is what I need to do. It can be quick, but we're still checking for like goodness. Now, I put these lines in as just like whenever I do a header, I kind of do a header and sometimes I just scribble in the middle. But there's something about, because I think I'm going to add these lines, that I'm going to add a stroke there. And I think it will add to this as a design. So you can do that. Fill, nothing, stroke, black. And then six point. And I grab that. I'm going to do 6 point. And all you have to do, all right, this is like the point system. I think it might work. I might adjust it in the future. We'll see. Paragraph. I'm going to go up to the margin. I'm going to make my paragraph box. And then I'm going to do, let's see if it, yes, Roman. All right. And then I found two areas. I'm going to do one paragraph and then I'm going to add a sentence from another one that I liked. I had this one dude. Because I am taking one. Oh, I thought I had it. I'm going to borrow this. Here it is. Point system. So I'm going to reference Print Wiki, and I'm only going to go down to here. And I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it in. I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to turn off my background. I'm going to properties. Go to 8 point. Now I can extend this out if I need to, right? And I'm going to make sure I go to my paragraph then, which is here. And I'm going to expand out. Hyphenate is turned off. That's perfect. And I'm going to add that last line in about we don't use it anymore. This can close. And then I'm going to copy and paste this. And put that at the bottom. And enter V. And I'm just going to do their double enter here. I think I'm fine with that. And now I'm going to look at like the leading. No weird lines, no returns that I need to fix at this point. Ha! Little design pun there. Turn that back on. And then I can start gathering my images and placing my images. And then I'm going to just work and massage this out and get everything to fit. Again, you know, like I have these specific sizes. So let's say this is all up to me, you know, like, so I went through here. I kind of wanted this, but this is on Wikipedia. Wikipedia always has like the perfect. So I want this. So I'm gonna right click, save image as. Now I'm on a different system. So I'm gonna go to my desktop. Giveaway logos. Look, that's for you guys. New folder, and I call it. I really shouldn't just call it typography, but I'm gonna do that just for us. And this is. Sometimes I rename these so I know when I got them, and then it's just like image_1. And then that way I'm just like, that was the first one I grabbed. I can close that out. Don't need to do that. Now I'm going to double check here. I kind of did like this mess of glyphs. I believe these are glyphs. Save image as. And that's the typography. So I call O2_image02. It's called a sort. A single piece of metal type is called a sort. In traditional typesetting, each sort has a raised character like the letter. So yeah, they're called a sort. These are called sorts. This actually I want. Image 3. That is not takeable. This. That's a good one. I thought I had one more. Well, I need one more. That's just fun. I actually do want this one. I think this is so funny. All right. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Well, I don't need that like it for this. Now, when I go in, I can start like gridding. So I'm going to add more lines here. You know, like I go here, and here. And maybe I'll just start with this. And then I'm going to go to images. I could put the guides and images to file, place, desktop, typography. Oh, unconfirmed download. Oh no, I don't know which place. I'll have to fix that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I have a desired size, I have a width, and if I want everything to match, this is where cropping comes in. Like, arrange them how you want, but then, so I have this. One thing I want to crop off of this image is the black. So for Illustrator, you create another box. And then you go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And so that clipped it to take off all that junk. And I can do that. Now I have that image. So if I make this image the same width, it's too big, but let's just crop it. Like, and I can crop this one as well. Like, if I have this as a stopping point, but I know I can go lower, I'm going to make a box this same size. And then grab that box. Oops. Put it where I want on this image. Tap it over. I want the upper ones, like a little bit more. And then just select both. Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And now I have my clipped image. And now that I see it, I want it moved up. I don't like that dead spot right there. So I am going to be like this. And then this one goes here. And then so in that, I am dictating how I want my pictures and not how the pictures can dictate to me. And it's just cropping. Get it the right size. Always holding Shift. Remember the always hold Shift. Oh, that little, I know which one didn't come through. And then like, so I can have an image here, an image below it, and then like maybe this long ruler I can put as the last image up here with the diagonal. And then I can just play with it still. So I'm going to play with it until it somewhat resembles what I wanted. And even this, like, do I dare go smaller? I think I'm at 8. Yeah, I'll keep it at 8. I'll work with 8. I got a lot of stuff in there, but it's fine. So that's what we want to do. And then so when I'm done, 2 ways to save it. Client, low, press, print, high. So, and we're going to open it right away. So file. So say I'm done. And I'm going to go to File, Export as. I'll just do the desktop. We'll call it SKH underscore typo. I don't know what you're supposed to name it. You have to look on the assignment. No, I don't want PSD. PDF. I'll just save it in there. Typo, and then this one is for the client. Client gets the low res one. So I'm going to hit export. My stuff, smallest file size, checking it. Optimize, great. View, yes, great. I look at compression. I look at marks and bleeds. Nothing's marked. Everything's good except for smallest file size. I hit export, and the client is going to receive this. Now, see what I did wrong? My margin is showing. I did something wrong. All right, let's go back and fix it. So then I just go back and I'm like, oh, you know what? The margin isn't set as a template. Go to template, make sure that my Adobe is closed, hit save. Again, cancel, and then file, export, export as. That is why I tell you to check your PDFs. If I'm seeing that, you should be seeing that. If I'm seeing that your crop marks are wrong, you should be seeing that. You always check what you send out. And if you're like, oh, I didn't see it. Like it's a pink square. You saw it. So now I just hit export again. Oh yeah, just replace it. This is nothing off my back. Just double check. Smallest size. Boom, boom, boom. Marks and bleeds, none. Export to PDF. Now that's what the client is going to see. A perfect little piece of artwork. Nothing that they don't need to see. Then I go to File, Export, Export As, PDF, and this one is Print. I'm going to hit Export. Now I'm going to go to Press Quality, Preserve, yep. Marks and bleed, I want trim marks, and I want use document bleed settings. Export, and then we can see this one has all the necessary stuff in it. It's got my trim marks, the margin isn't showing, which isn't needed, and if I had bleed, you can kind of see like that image is bleeding past where it should. So perfect. Done. Turn them in with the Illustrator file so I can see your work. Why am I saving on my computer? Well, I can save it here. And I'm going to save it too. And it's called, I'm going to call it typo 01. I don't know. Say it. I'll know what it is when I see it. All right, now let's talk about the big project. And the big project meaning your sketches. I want you to gather 5 more images of each of your design styles. Why is that? Because it's so important that if you are trying to emulate something, copy something, whatever it may be, that you use visual references. If you saw something once in your life, you don't, okay, some people can, take that back. But generally, when designers do stuff, illustrators do stuff, we reference something to get what we want. Sure, there's times, even if you're like, I'm going to draw a cartoony skull. You know what people do? They look at what a skull looks like. You may like do it and be like, I know how to draw a face. But sometimes if you reference those things, it's going to look even better because you're referencing from something and not just like goofily making it up. Sure, the happy smiley face, some of that stuff is fine. But when we reference something, we're going to make it that much clearer. So let's look at the student example here. The Vienna Succession, the flowing hair, the coloring. Here, there's a lot of outlines. They're like, this is pure dark to white. You know what I'm looking at? And then it's just, these are all very much in the same vein. So what do they do for their drawings? The exact same thing. It very much feels that way. And these are very quick. They're detailed. This student can illustrate and draw. But again, you saw mine when I just did. I want to see some reflection of the designs moving forward in the sketches. Here, real blocky, color blocks in the background, real, arrows, super, like this modern movement in America had this, like, whoever did all these, they all came like from the same person. You know what I'm saying? Like these two actually were, and these two were as well. But just very distinct style, using like really strong graphic points. Same thing here. Really strong graphic points. This one's really strong. Like I'm trying to make this, but for a new modern style. I'm not copying this exactly. I'm not taking this image and literally and then just retyping in the Bird Cafe, the Daily Bird, because this doesn't reference the Daily Bird. That's a washing machine inside a house. So I'm not going to copy it. but I want to copy some funness. Like these people, it's a black and white and it's going to be half tone. Like that's pretty cool if you can make this person drinking coffee black and white half tone with a yellow background. And, like, and that's what we're looking for. So think about those things when you sketch it up. Paul Rand, very specific style. They've like, tried to do this. And here they have 4. You're required to do 3. They have 4, they have 3, they have 4. Again, this is something, don't do it all on Sunday. Spread these out, have some fun. Like dig in with, at night you're watching TV, sketch a little bit, do some drawings, look at your reference, have your laptop open next to you, looking at, I would type in here. I would do this on my laptop, hit enter, hit images, and then just hit tools, and it's like, what's the size? Is large, and then examples. There we go. And then I'm just gonna scroll and look at them, look at these cool drawings, or like use this as reference for when you're moving forward, and just look, find your references, use the references you found, open up your PDF, all those things that you gathered, and look at them and try to emulate. This is that practice, because when you are working in the future for a company in a brand, you have to match brand styles. They're going to say, here's our brand guideline. We need posters for a college event. And you're just not going to run off and do your own thing. You have to create a poster that looks exactly like it should match that style and brand for that company. And that this is a kind of a practice in as well, is can you match historical styles? How well can you match these historical styles? And it's fun to practice, because then you also know what they are, and you get to pick your favorites. So it's all I think this is so much fun, and I've seen such great work out of this. So there we go. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything that's happening, use those midweek session reviews. Just throw it up there. I'm really quick. I see them and I get back to you, because otherwise I make the comments in the grade area, and then you're like, oh wait, now I got to go back and fix it because I posted it here, instead of knowing you get my comments in the discussion midweek review area. Then you can make those changes. Then when you upload it, you know what my comments are going to be. Looks great. I see that we made all the changes we want to make. Looks great. Bye. And then you get a great grade. And then I'm not, putting it in oh, you need to fix this, you need to adjust that. I would rather hear that first than turn in a final one and just hear from me, the man of few words. Great work. Excellent job. So, because sometimes you'll see that for grading. If it's spot on, I don't need to say much more than great work. You did it. Awesome. You only get large comments when I'm like, okay, here are the things I noticed that we need to fix and need to adjust to make it better, bring it up to standards for us. So again, reach out to me. Questions, comments, concerns, anything that you have, I'm more than happy to help out. I have those open days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 until 4 in room M560. Come on down and use these brand new. Oh, I'll show you what they look like. Give me 1 second. See my photo album. This is it. So this is what you can now use. There's 15 of these setups. You have a normal screen, a secondary screen that is mirrored to a drawing screen. So you can physically draw on this screen and it shows up here. This desktop is just extended. So when you move your mouse from here, it automatically goes to here. Then this is a Wacom tablet, which I find far easier to use as a designer because I'm holding a stylus and not a mouse. That's why these are pushed and back. The mouse is a clunky, heavy thing that you got to move around. I'd rather just hold a pencil. And it's like holding a pencil. And you can dance around that. And then when this even works, so if you're doing Photoshop retouching and you don't want to use this screen, this is pressure sensitive. So is this. And it's 2 giant screens, side by side. So come on in, advance your designs. If there's another time you want to come in, let me know. I can find somebody to be in that room to use it. Oh my God, these are so great. This is what I use every day. This is what my house looks like. And I had this set up at my house before. So come on in, use it. Do great design. Use the proper tools. We have them for you. So come on down, see me, hang out with me. All right, now I'm done. Thank you. Take care, and I will post again for Tuesday or for Wednesday. Wednesday. Thank you.